was born to be a fighter, had these dreams and desires. I would be something better, energy, got a fire in my soul to keep burning, a pain that keep hurting, a curse is emerging, feel the thirst, keep on working, I won't stop, I won't quit, to the top of this shit, I get lost in the work, sweat dripping, not a bitch, I get mad, I get pissed, I get after this shit, hit the gas, feel the grip, adrenaline, never miss, I'm not patient, but I've learned to embrace it, cause I've been working, I've been waiting, never complacent, cause I'm so close I could taste it, wanted away from everything I've been chasing. I'm honest and I promise that I got this. I'm launching, all I've wanted has been exhausting. I'll teach you how to harness, control the conscious. You got this, yeah you got this, you gotta want it. Life ain't fair, are you gonna win or will you play scared? I will not stop, I will prepare. To get to the top and it must be rare. Got 'em like hey, I will not stop, I am prepared. To get to the top, then it must be rare. You got one shot, life ain't fair. Are you gonna win or will you play scared? I will not stop, I am prepared. To get to the top, then it must be rare. Got 'em like I will not stop, I am prepared. To get to the top, then it must be rare. Yeah, watch out, I'm fighting hard for the crown. Yeah, no doubt, I'll be the best pound for pound. I'm obsessed with winning, this is my house. So watch out, I'm coming to the top. I die, yeah, I'm addicted to winning. If that's a sin, I'll be sinning. I'm disciplined when I'm in it, and this is just the beginning. The money, yeah, I'll be printing while helping others make millions. See, I'm not selfish, no villain, but still I'm making a killing. I'm here for greatness, you can't lock me into cages. Deserve to be on stages, I will be the greatest. Do it yourself, I made it. Yeah, I rock from the basement. I'll take my life into my own hands, my own plan. Yeah, I got a backbone, designing my own program. I'll mentor the next wave of the bravest, so don't be late, I'm about to make changes. One shot, life ain't fair. Are you gonna win or will you play scared? I will not stop, I am prepared. To get to the top, yeah, you must be there. Got 'em like hey, I will not stop, I am prepared. To get to the top, yeah, you must be rare. You got one shot, life ain't fair. Are you gonna win or will you play scared? I will not stop, I am prepared. To get to the top, yeah, you must be rare. Got 'em like I will not stop, I am prepared. To get to the top, yeah, you must be rare. Yeah, I'm on it.
All right, well, guys, welcome to my little slice of the internet over here.
This isn't the basement. What's going on?
Oh man,
that was a cool intro. Where did you like put that together yourself, or?
Yeah, actually, which that's actually the second version of that intro. When I was going to, at the end it says Anime AM. Anyways. I was going to do shows in the AM, but yeah, about 2 years ago now, I just had time and I was putting it together, worked on it like 30 seconds at a time, which 30 seconds at a time doing that was like 4 or 5 hours in a day.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But like, we have like our podcast intro with like a video component. I guess that one's only like 30 seconds long though, so I don't think it took.
I kept it short. It's like it's not even 30 seconds, it's like 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got really heavy into well, I've always kind of been heavy into AMVs and stuff like that. They've always been fun.
Yeah.
To me. Like how people do them. AMV hell, AMV just music videos and stuff like that, using the animation to tell the story of the song. It's just always been something that I wanted to try to get into, and I just kind of ran with that one.
They're fun to make. I need to make more of them, honestly. Like I did one, the only one I've made, I did for Otakon last year, because they have like their like AMV theater.
Okay.
Where like people attend the con, like submit AMVs, and it's always like the room is having like the big ballroom, and it's always packed because I guess people just really like seeing AMV. I would never would have guessed, honestly, that many people wanted to see AMVs. But I put one together that year, and maybe I'll do one this year. Although the due date is not this upcoming Monday, but next Monday. So we'll see.
Oh,
it'll be fine. But they're a lot of fun. Yeah, it's especially like I don't know about you, but for me, it's like you listen to the song, and it's almost like you come up with like images in your head of like almost like what it should be, and then you're trying to like figure that out as you're like putting it together.
Oh yeah, like I like when I was there's certain images like that started that particular project that had me thinking, and then I was looking around for songs and stuff that it would go with, and definitely trying to look for non-copyrighted songs because YouTube. And
I just saw some meta clip that someone made on fucking Google. I don't know.
Oh, it's a crappy MIDI version of something.
But yeah, like I find it very fun to do. I haven't done one in a while. Just haven't had the time. I actually had a thought of doing one with I forget the name of the song, but it's like a teenager scared the living hell out of me.
Oh, My Chemical Romance song?
Yes. And I was going to basically use all clips from High School of the Dead.
Oh, it's just like them acting like psychopaths, basically.
Yes. Or pretty much any other teenager anime that just has them knocking the shit out of adults or anyone else, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Oh, we got people in the chats. I believe these are people that y'all know.
Oh, yeah.
A couple.
How's it going, guys?
It's on Matsurica. Why are we doing this meme?
Matsurica's been blowing up.
It's an all the rage with the kids these days. People love their esoteric experimental animation.
So what is that? I don't know what that is.
Was that Koji Yamamura? Is that who did that one?
No, it was Keita Kurosaka. It's
Oh yeah, isn't that Mochibe guy?
It's hard to explain because it doesn't have anything to explain. There are no characters. There's no plot. There's nothing. It's just like kind of peering into an animated void or fog or something like that for like 30 minutes. It's very like ethereal, kind of Rorschach testy, where
very arresting.
Yeah,
I remember watching it and being like, for the first, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, being like, this is fucking stupid. This is pretentious bullshit. And then you get to about the 25-minute mark, I'm like, you know what? I'm coming around on Paltry.
Listen, they're going the distance.
Is it like the first time you discover ASMR and you just sit there wondering like why are 10,000 people watching this, and you realize you've watched it for about 20-30 minutes?
I don't know. I've never actually discovered ASMR.
Same. I've never
Sai just never did it. I was like I remember like early on YouTube I was really into like the whisper community. I was like, this is nice, because like you had like all the fucking like artifacting and like terrible like audio quality, and then people are like whispering. I was like, this sounds kind of soothing. I don't know. And then like that somehow transformed into like ASMR. Like I remember people started using like ASMR, like soft spoken and all that, and then like that just became ASMR, and it was like I don't know what this is.
I think it's felt like my personal bubble is being invaded, and I just kind of like reactively win. I'm like, why are you in my ear? Get out of my head.
Yeah, I don't know. Like somehow I wound up on an Amaranth stream of all people years ago when she was doing ASMR. And I tuned in for like a week straight, just trying to figure out like why are people watching it? And I finally just gave up.
Thousands of people watching it, no less.
So the problem with ASMR is like it's like the term moe, where like ASMR is like a very like specific response where it does not just straight up apply to everything. So like you have an ASMR video, and obviously they're trying to elicit that response, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be ASMR to you. For me, like I remember when they kind of introduced what the term in like the popular zeitgeist. I remember kind of think like I think the classic videos back then were like the Lita massage clips or whatever, where she's like really soft spoken and like talking about doing massages or whatever. I would actually get that from like this is gonna sound really weird, but I would get that from like the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier.
Like the changing of the guard?
Yes.
What the fuck?
Well, because it's like very like deliberate.
Yeah.
And like very like media. So like I would kind of get that response from that. And so it's like it has nothing to do like really. A lot of people get it from like the weird like smacking and like finger wagging and shit,
mouth noises and stuff.
But like that's not necessarily like a universal. Like you can get it from like anything really. Like someone just talking to you at the store, and just the way that they're speaking, like oh, I kind of like their vibe or something. It gives me like ASMR or whatever.
and then you get that for the changing of the guard of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier.
Exactly. Yeah. This is how it works.
I mean, I guess I
take your word
couldn't
for
get
it.
into it.
You're the odd one out here, Moon.
Listen, if people can find Kaiji fucking Moe, I can find the changing of the guard to be kind of relaxing.
Fair. You should like go on like a YouTube video or stream and be like, "This is my ASMR." Like type that in the comments or something.
Just put it on one night.
Real man ASMR.
Yeah.
Oh, so I gotta do like I gotta quiz y'all guys. Like what? Like what got y'all into anime? Like where are your credentials? Where do your credentials lie?
Oh no.
You want to go first? Moon? You have a more interesting story, probably.
I don't know if so I got into anime, like how to put it. I got into anime without knowing I got into anime, essentially. My grandparents, when I was young, would buy me like every animated movie on VHS possible. And so I had like the Little Nemo movie on VHS. I had the Troma dub of Totoro.
Scamper the Penguin, which I didn't know was anime until which
much
is somehow
later.
Part of both of our childhoods.
Somehow. We're like a decade apart, but
yeah, it's a universal experience.
And so I grew up with that. Then very boring part, Pokemon got big. Went from that to Digimon, went from that to Yu-Gi-Oh, went from that to Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball then kind of led me, because then like Shonen Jump was started publicating in the US at the time. So I saw the third volume of Shonen Jump with like the Goku card or whatever. I was like, oh, I want to get that. And then that kind of introduced me to Naruto, One Piece, and all that. And watching the Android Saga on Toonami or Adult Swim, whatever it was, at night, introduced me to like Yu Yu Hakusho originally, Tenchi, whatever that whole lineup was at the time. And so I got into anime pretty young. Went to conventions and stuff from like 2003, 2004 to 2007, whenever I got out of anime for a bit. Went to high school, had a normal childhood for 4 years because I was too busy to fucking watch anime. Then I graduated, had way more free time, and got just kept calling me back. Namely, it's because fucking people go into college and they're like, oh, I'm gonna download all these cool movies, and I'm like, oh, yeah, you can download things off the internet. I forgot about that. What am I interested in downloading? Well, I watched a lot of anime when I was a kid. I guess I'll download Cowboy Bebop and Ava. I like those. I guess I'll download this. Oh, there's some new anime. I guess I'll download that. And
there's this website called 4chan that has like an anime forum.
Well, no, I was already there.
Okay.
Because at that point I was still like kind of posting on like V or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just made the transition back over to A.
Mine's much more simple because it's like, I mean, I watched the aforementioned Scamper the Penguin and stuff like that as a kid, not knowing that was anime, and then like Pokemon and like Bakugan, Beyblade, things like that. And I think I have a very vivid memory. I have a very vivid memory of the first time I ever saw Full Metal Alchemist. It was 2003. And I remember I just like fallen asleep in the living room and like woke up in the middle of the night. TV was on, just playing Adult Swim. And there was a show playing, and I didn't know what the show was, but it was some kid with like magic powers and his robot friend fighting some guys on a train. And I was like, this is the greatest thing ever.
That kid.
And then I went back to sleep. I went back to sleep, and I did not remember what the hell it was. It wasn't probably until maybe like a year, 2 years, maybe even longer later that I was at like a library, and I just see the book, the manga for Full Metal Alchemist at the library, and I was like, oh, that's what it's called. And I didn't rent it because they didn't have the first volume, because the library never has the first goddamn volume of any manga. Why would it? Why would that ever make any sense?
It's too popular.
It's so annoying.
I remember my library had like 8 volumes of Chobits, and none of them close to volume 1.
They had one library I was in back home had like a copy of like, it was like the full color version, because like they don't understand like anime or manga really, and some stuff's for kids and some stuff's for adults. They had the full color version of High School of the Dead right next to like Yotsuba. I was like, this is not okay. One of these should not be in the same vicinity. So I think what basically happened then was I watched Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood when it came back on Toonami, and I would set my alarm on my Nintendo DS for like midnight, 1 a.m. whenever it was playing on Toonami on Saturday nights, and I would basically use that to watch it. And I would like sneak into the living room, turn the TV on with the volume very low, and just be very close to the screen so I could actually hear it still. And I'd just be watching Full Metal Alchemist that way. But I wasn't really watching it with the like idea of like, yeah, I'm watching anime. For me, it was just like, damn good television. I didn't start really watching anime until a little bit after that. I think maybe around the time I entered a high school, early high school. I was just, in a this is before Discord. I was in a mumble call with a friend playing on our Minecraft server, and he was telling me about like the whatever anime he was watching at the time. He was explaining the
early 2010 statement I ever heard.
Yes, of course. And he was like posting like the pictures in the mumble chat, and I was like, "What show is that? That looks cool." And the name of that show was "Problem Children Are Coming from Another World, Aren't They?" Seasonal from 2013. That's 10 episodes long, and I don't think anyone remembers beyond a gif of one of the girls dancing from the ED. That's its lasting cultural legacy. But that was the moment. That was the moment where I was like, I'm gonna watch anime. What am I gonna watch? I honestly just watched like a lot of like ecchi harem comedies for like the first year of getting into anime, because I don't know how to find anime. I should just ask my friend for recommendations. He'd be like, have you seen Aesthetica of a Rogue Hero? Have you seen High School DxD or Sword Art Online? Like, I don't know what those words mean. No, but sure. Where do you watch? And he's like, you go to this website called freecartoonsonline.com. And I'm like, sure, all right, that sounds good to me. And then from there, I more or less just consistently kept watching anime, and if anything, as time goes on, I just continually watch more and more anime. I think so. It's been a little bit over 10 years since then. That would have been like 2013. So in the next 10 years, I think every waking moment of my life is going to be dedicated to watching anime if this continues. God help me.
Yeah, we can only hope, because anime is just getting better. I've been consistently covering it for probably about 2 years now, and I don't think I've been disappointed with a single season in the last 2.5 years that I've been watching.
There's usually, I mean, because we go through, at least for I don't know how many seasons now, but we've gone through basically like the first episode of every new like if there's a season 2, yeah, especially if it's a season 2 of a show we haven't seen the season 1 of. But for every new show airing in a season, we'll usually at least watch like the first episode and then kind of make a determination there of whether or not we want to continue it, maybe give it a few more episodes, or just not. It's like, all right, yeah, we don't need to see any more of that. We usually pretty consistently end up with a pretty good slate of shows. Just kind of doing that. Granted, I would not advocate for people to do such granular searching for things that, though it is a lot of fun. It takes some time. It takes it takes up time when you come home after work.
Yeah, I normally I probably start with about 15 shows, and then I'll whittle it down to maybe about 6 or 7 by
That's
about
the
mid season. Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, there's some that and then there's some that I just pick up. Like there was what the one that I picked up this season that I wasn't initially on my radar was the Evil Galactic Lord, or Evil Lord of the Galactic Empire.
Yeah.
It's so mid as a show, but it's so fun to watch.
When we watched like that first episode, we were, this probably won't be anything. We put on that first episode, and we were like, just waiting because we were like, come on, let's get that NTR, let's fucking go. We're like cheering for it, we're like, come on, do it, yes. And he's like crying and depressed, his life is ruined, and we're like, this is the greatest thing ever.
After episode 1, we're like, oh yeah, this is gonna be like garbage now because it's gonna be the isekai or whatever. But we'll give it a shot.
It's like not gonna continue. It'll be fun after that first episode.
After episode 3, I think we were all just like, wasn't familiar with your game.
Yeah, like what the hell is going? It's like in a sci-fi world like Dune, but it's also fantasy elements. And then he's working with a samurai to train him, except the samurai is actually a hack, fraud, scam artist, and like all this stuff is going on. I'm like, sure, why? We're just doing everything, I guess. He has a robot made that's like has a super powerful AI that's running his colony, like he's playing Star Sector. I don't know. Sure, let's go with that.
It's kind of done the power fantasy thing right, because it's so like unserious that once it gets into like the power fantasy stuff, you're kind of just like, this is fun. Like, it wasn't just spending a whole time like, I'm so dark and brooding, and you're just kind of like, okay, I'm already like off put by this guy. I don't really care about him succeeding at life.
Well, the jokes are so good too. Like, I don't remember the last time that if I've ever seen an anime have a robot humping air.
Oh god, we fucking lost our mind. We saw that, we finished that episode, and we're like, who the fuck is saying mecha anime is dead? All right. The funny thing about that episode too is like there's some really, not necessarily like animation, but like they have really detailed drawings of the mecha as well, which caught me off guard. Yeah. Like, damn, this looks really good. There's like a lot of like thought and effort put into like drawing this robot, and then it's fondling breasts and fucking the air.
Yeah, it was something that I did not see coming, but it's been so fun to watch.
Yeah, it's like it has like it feels self-aware, but not necessarily like that kind of Joss Whedon Marvel kind of like, oh well, that just happened kind of way. It feels very like earnest, where it's like, we're doing this because it's fun. This is fun, and we're gonna have fun doing it. Doesn't matter if these ideas don't go together aesthetically at all. We're gonna do it anyway because they're fun.
Oh man, yeah, it's been a really good episode to watch. Have there been any other shows this season that y'all have dropped or haven't maybe just picked up, or maybe one didn't hit?
I mean,
well, we're watching like 24 shows.
Yeah, for context, we're watching a burdensome amount. Like our schedule more or less, like every weekday is like 3, maybe 4 episodes of anime, like basically just in the evening. And we also watch some more in another friend of our server. We're watching like 3, 4, however many shows. I guess probably the biggest, maybe not disappointment, or I guess maybe expected disappointment for us this season has been Lazarus.
Oh, yeah,
I saw that coming.
I'm kind of with y'all on that.
I saw it quote unquote coming, but I'm not happy that I did.
No, I never want anime to be bad.
No,
but like that was. I'm gonna be real. Putting the creator Cowboy Bebop on something every time Watanabe puts something out for the last 25, 30 years or whatever it is, and you never put from the creator of insert thing that happened since Samurai Champloo,
from the director of Macross Plus, like you're never gonna see that. Maybe you'll see like Space Dandy. It would always go Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo, and then Space Dandy if they're mentioning more in that order. If they're mentioning more than just Cowboy Bebop.
Oh yeah, because I mean, Cowboy Bebop's like the most successful thing that he's ever done.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Yeah, it's just been. I just don't care. I don't care about anything happening in the show. Like the characters are like cool. Like it feels very much like it's meant to like have that same kind of like vibe to something like Cowboy Bebop, where like these are all cool characters. They're all really good at doing stuff. They're cool, but like part of the charm of Cowboy Bebop is like when you first see Spike, look at a schlubby guy, and you're just like, what the fuck is this dude? He's like bordering on homeless. They live in like this dog shit fucking like spaceship, and it's like, okay. And it's like, what are these guys? And like when you see him in that first fight scene in episode 1, he's like dressed as like a doofus. He's got like the sombrero and poncho on. You're like, what is this? This guy will never be able to do anything cool in a fight.
We were talking about this like last episode we watched. I sat there, was thinking about it. I think the problem with Lazarus is it's like kind of the most by the numbers action schlock movie you could come up with. Anime.
Like, so I dropped it after episode 2 because I couldn't take any more of it, because it seemed like from episode 1 to 2 there was almost 2 or 3 episodes missing in between, because it's like they just went straight into the story, and like you didn't care about anything that was going on from that episode 1 to episode 2.
It's been kind of a chronic problem with the show where it has it has the group of characters, but they don't really have like a very good like group dynamic or anything. They're just kind of like people in a room together. They're not, like they don't have that Cowboy Bebop dynamic. And the show that I keep comparing it to is a show from maybe like late 2022. I don't know when. I can't remember when the show came out, but I was about to say Akudama Drive. Which
that was a good show.
Yeah, I think that basically does what Lazarus is trying to do, but way better because it's a lot more over the top and insane, and but while also having much stronger characterization and just overall like interpersonal dynamics between the characters. It's every episode we watch, I'm just like, yeah, this is like a reference to like a movie and stuff, but I mean, that's literally like what Azumanga. I keep saying Azumanga Daioh. What the fuck? That's literally what Akudama Drive basically does. Every episode is like kind of based a little bit off of a different Western movie, and it's way more fun.
Yeah, it was like the animation in that was just very eye-catching too. I still haven't. I need to go back and finish that because I'm probably about 6-7 episodes into that one.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It builds up to like you know what like the twist or like reveal is, and like the way that it builds up to it and what it actually ends up paying off is super satisfying and interesting. And it's, I don't know, I feel like it's fairly easy for like something to like just completely fuck that up and like oh, that's what it was the whole time. Okay, but no, it's a really strong show front to back, honestly. I've been advocating for us to like Moomy hasn't seen it, so I'd be rewatching it and just showing it to him. Maybe we'll get around to it at some point because it is a really fun show.
Okay. Are either of y'all watching Windbreakers this season?
I need to get into it. I watched season 1 and enjoyed it, but like watching sequels this season was very hard to start.
Yeah, like because like we went through everything. We're like, all right, this is our slate of shows. We have like 20, and then we look over like, oh god, there's like Windbreaker season 2, Shoshiman season 2,
Ranger
Rejects. Yeah.
Ranger. I can't do Ranger Reject. That first season just ruined it for me.
I thought it was okay.
It's very weird in terms of what I expected it to be doing at the start versus how it actually turns out, like where the story is actually headed.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to go. Which, I mean, to be fair, I felt the same way about Samurai Flamenco when they aired, and people love that. So it's like maybe it's just like maybe that's just
that's also like an original though. I mean, people really like the manga for it, and I see people like doing like hype beast aura farming, posting the panels. I'm like, I don't know where the hell this is going, but fuck, does it look cool? I have no context for what I'm being shown. It's probably a massive spoiler, but awesome. Let's go. Wow. And the next season's gonna be even worse because there's like even more season 2. It's for some reason like I've now just struggled to take the initiative to watch things on my own because I'm just so used now to watching things like in a group with other people, and that being when I watch anime versus like on my own.
Oh, it's probably a lot more fun in a group setting. I'm so used to doing it by myself that I burn through so many shows, and sometimes I have to rewatch them twice to catch some stuff.
It can be more fun. It depends. There are some things that it's like, because we also do like, we'll sometimes just like group watch stuff on our server. Just like, here are some random OVAs from the 80s and 90s. Will they be any good? I mean, the odds are stacked against them, but it's certainly possible. I
tell you, I've been enjoying YouTube because I've been finding more and more of these old animation studios or companies that have the rights to some of these old shows, and they've just put them all on YouTube in the entirety.
Oh yeah,
like I just came across one called Super Gals.
Oh yeah,
it's on YouTube, and it's
yes, like the full thing's on YouTube, and I've been loving it. Like it is a time capsule anime because it definitely uses a lot of slangs from the 90s. That would like if you want to hear Nami use the R word multiple times.
This is the dub.
Yes, they have the dub of it.
That's an interesting. They're probably just translating like, "Oh, you sussy baka" or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Nozomi Entertainment. Wow, they just have. This is like 12 years ago too. This has been up on YouTube for a while. I just.
Oh yeah. Like they had another one called Magical Girls Club, or no, not Magical Girls Club. They have another one on there where it's like boys
Magic
that are
Users
like
Club?
Magical Users Club. That's what it was. Yeah. And it's like first episode, and it's got aliens that pull out the tentacles and everything. Like to the guys, the girls, and it like I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is on YouTube. Yeah. But yeah, like discovering stuff like that's been great. Heck, I got a playlist of somebody like put tons of 80s and 90s OVAs, and there's like 500 of them on there, and I'm just gonna start it one day and just watch OVAs.
Oh yeah.
Living that YouTube watching parts live.
I watched the entire Devilman OVAs on YouTube a week or two ago, and they were great.
You're talking about Birth and I forget the other one. The two 80s or 90s OVAs, right? Not the Crybaby one. Yeah.
Oh no, not Crybaby. Crybaby'd get struck down if I had to guess. But yeah, the much older ones that I actually think might be a little more violent than Crybaby.
Oh yeah, definitely. They're kind of cool though. Like Crybaby is obviously more sound as far as like it's a full adaptation. It's not Yuasa's best work, but it's a solid outing. It's not nothing to really complain about in that regard.
It's interesting. It's like his most well-known work, at least outside of Japan. It feels like
probably because it was like safest, I guess. Like I think probably the thing that makes it the least interesting to me, as far as directorially, is probably the thing that just makes it more accessible for people.
Yeah, it's not. It scares the maidens in other ways, not necessarily in terms of presentation.
Well, I think the thing that did it for me, that probably set it above Crybaby, was just the death of the Nozomi, or the girl and her family.
You're talking about that Amon OVA, the third one.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a pretty brutal scene. Honestly,
it is. Like I didn't expect I think the thing that really just threw me off was the kid, the brother, that just is kind of walking, and then next thing it's like he's got an arrow in his head.
Yeah, I don't remember Crybaby like left an emotional impact, but there wasn't like a visceral one. Like even the infamous scene with the head or whatever.
Oh yeah, where they got her on pikes and they're kind of dancing around and stuff.
It's emotional because you're like, oh no, she's dead.
I think it's like, more. Yeah, it's more so like not necessarily like viscerally raw, like in the literal sense of viscera, but like just like it's conceptually unpleasant on one end, and then just like emotionally tragic. I mean, it's a canon event. It has to have. You're adapting Devilman. You gotta get there at some point.
I'll tell y'all something that's like crazy. Like, well, I say it's crazy, but I did a short a few weeks ago talking about. I don't know if y'all know about the trend or the anime Mount Rushmore thing that goes around every now and again.
Yeah.
And I was like, Nagai's works need to be up there, like a Devilman or a Mazinger or something like that, because I mean they were ones that I feel really just have given modern anime its staying power. Like I feel he started a lot of the trends that we see in modern anime. And I actually had somebody say that nobody's watching those old ass animes.
I mean, they're not wrong, but it's very unfortunate.
Statistically speaking, Miles on Twitter will tell you no one's watching the old anime. That's the thing. Like he was talking about, like the Crunchyroll Anime Awards. It's like, God. Girls Band Cry should have won, like original anime, but evidently the whole thing was decided by popular vote. So it goes to
th-
Ninja Kamui because that was on Toonami, and therefore orders of magnitude more people watched it.
That's interesting. Like I actually did a whole thing on the Mount Rushmore thing. We came up with our own, which we kind of went at it. We tried to balance. I say we. I tried to balance. So I was just there. He agrees, but I tried balancing like international influence with like within the industry influence. So
Yeah.
like mine, the one I came up with would have been like Astro Boy because you have to.
Right. Yeah.
You could say Gundam. I would put Yamato, just because I feel like Yamato had more legs internationally with like Star Blazers than Gundam originally. At least we're talking like specifically 0079, not the whole franchise. But
0079 didn't play on American TV until 90s,
like
2000s.
Yeah.
Not for long.
Whereas
time.
like at least Star Blazer was like very formative for like early, like that and Robotech or whatever. But then also Yamato was like a pivotal show within the industry and what led basically to Gundam being a thing. And then after that I would have put Ava and Haruhi, just because both of those were so like Ava was very pivotal as far as like TV animation, since it helped bring them out of the. I mean, it wasn't what brought them out of the fucking recession, but the
listen, guys, the lost decade never happened. Why? Because Evangelion saved the Japanese economy.
But it was what kind of helped usher in that sort of renaissance of like TV original anime aimed more at teenagers and older audiences, as opposed to just being seen as the toy vehicle.
Also, just like getting like all of these different companies involved, like Sega. Who else was like King Records? I think all these different companies on the production committee, which I don't
basically
know
saved the whole town.
Yeah, it like I don't know if it was the first to do that, but it definitely, from what I understand, set like a standard for this is how we're going to be financing anime going forward, basically.
And you got Haruhi, which is introduced the light novel trend, essentially,
as well as being like an incredibly formative part of otaku culture, particularly in like the mid to late 2000s.
Yeah. Also very formative in the cute girls doing cute things thing. Somehow it did both.
Does it all.
Did it all, baby.
Oh man. So y'all mentioned the anime awards. I'm kind of glad y'all did, because that just seemed so ridiculous to me with what they can like with what just happened. Like the fact that Crunchyroll basically gave its award to a anime that it helped produce just seems wrong to me. Like, I mean, granted, yes, I think we all know that it's Sony now, and like I really think it's just a big marketing ploy, because I mean those little things on DVDs, like this anime won this award. Oh, the unknowing buyer's going to probably pick that up, or someone who's just maybe slightly interested.
I don't even know if it's necessarily a commercial. I think it's very much a like a shareholder pitch. Basically, you get the sense that, like, less so this year, but definitely last year, when they had like all of this like anime's international impact, and it's like some guy from Wisconsin talking about like how anime influences his cooking, and then he's just cooking and he's like making stuff that has fucking nothing to do with anime beyond that. It's like,
I like to bake bread, and while I'm
I
baking bread,
like to bake bread.
I ain't gonna lie, Food Wars had me cooking.
No, not even that.
Not even Food Wars. Like, it was like I think of Deku and how he overcame adversity, and it helps me raise the yeast.
Oh god! That's insane.
It's like
I need motivation to feed my face. What the heck?
And I don't know. Yeah, it's just I mean, it was a mess last year too with like the live dubbing stuff. It was a mess this year. Like they didn't really. I don't know how they didn't fix it. They need to fucking fix it if they're gonna keep doing this.
That was the thing I think we focused in on, was like how fucking terrible the whole production.
Right. Well,
like,
because okay. Here's the thing. To a certain extent, I don't care what wins. It's like I don't care what wins at the Oscars. It's really cool when something like Flow wins. That's awesome. But at the end of the day, it's the Crunchyroll Anime Awards. I'm not going to be expecting to have my like mind blown. But
don't put much reverence into the Crunchyroll Anime Awards.
When whoever like wins and they go up to the stage to accept their award, that is their moment, and I would like to know what the fuck they have to say, and I can't because of this atrocious Have they like hold on, because they took the original stream VOD down, and I wonder if it's back up, and maybe they re-uploaded it without the live dub, and it's just like they gave it like subtitles or something. Let me check this.
Oh, 100% that did not happen.
Probably not. Why would I ever expect anything good?
Wait, what happened now? Because I actually didn't watch the awards. I just caught the. Basically just got the highlights of what won, because I can't stand to watch that stuff after watching it maybe last year or 2 years ago.
I mean, I didn't watch it live because it was at 5 fucking in the morning.
I ended up watching it live. Didn't intend to. He intended to, and somehow I was the one that ended up doing it.
Well, you know what? I've been having a normal sleep schedule, and I was like, I don't feel like fucking that up for this fucking like dumpster fire.
And I didn't have AC, and so I woke up in a pool of my own sweat and was like, oh, maybe I'll just watch this instead. I don't know. But every award, like because they insist on doing like a live dubbing thing. You know, they could do like live captioning or like subtitles or something where it's like maybe they have a 2-minute delay or something, and then they have time to put the subtitles on screen. Something, right?
Yeah.
They insist on doing live dubbing where they have somebody.
So I guess they did fix it. So they have re-uploaded it. So they re-uploaded it 6 days ago. It now has 20,000 views because, I mean, no one really cares anymore. But they did re-upload it without the live dub, and now it's just got proper subtitles, so I can understand what people are saying when they accept their awards. But
yeah, it was literally incomprehensible. Like there were some.
Oh god!
Because like they have somebody that is like having to listen. Like I don't know how familiar you are with Japanese, but the subject of the sentence, like usually at the beginning, quote unquote, that you would have in English is kind of at the end of Japanese. And so you kind of have to listen to a whole sentence before you can start like you can't just like start translating the first word and then make a coherent sentence in English, like in real time. So you have to sit there. The people have to sit there and listen to what they're saying. They have to listen to the full sentence. Then they had to start trying to relay that to people while then listening to the next sentence, because they don't just stop talking. Yeah. And so like there were times, I forget what was the award for. It was Makine.
Best like slice of life or whatever.
Yeah, the actress went up on stage for Yami, and she starts like giving the speech about. The gist of it was basically like, oh, I was happy to be part of the production. It's a story about kids at the stage of their life, whatever, and like the translation was literally incomprehensible.
Yeah.
Like I made a whole tweet about it and everything. It was like, could you please next year make your fucking award show comprehensible where I can understand?
Yeah, do like happening. Have it on a delay or something, or I don't know, do something to just drop the live dub, have like, I don't know, maybe live subtitles. There's got to be a way to do it that's like better than this, because as it stands right now, it's just unwatchable.
I'm looking for the transcription of what they said.
Well, I mean, they should be using AI next year, shouldn't they? I mean, I know that I've been seeing like these translation earbud things going around.
I feel around. If there was ever a use case for AI when it comes to Crunchyroll, not a terrible one, honestly, because AI might be better at handling. I guess it's like you also have to like, because like the AI could also just spit back nonsense. I don't know necessarily how robust the technology is on that front in terms of doing live translation like this, but I gotta figure out something. And in terms of the winners, it was really funny to watch Mother's Basements, Glass Reflections, and Miles's podcast, Quest for the Best. They did an episode talking about the Anime Awards, and I guess Miles was the one who basically organized like the voting end of stuff, like the voting side of the awards, when he was working at Crunchyroll. And when they explained to him, one, the way that they handled nominations was not using like a point system where you could give things priority. They literally just asked the judges, what are 6 anime that you would nominate for this category? And they took the most popular ones. And then that was it. That was all they asked of the judges. And then it basically was just then purely decided by a popular vote after that. They did not recontact the judges and ask them like, okay, now what would you vote for out of these like 6 anime that were nominated? And then that would be like 70%, 80%, how much that actually would count for the vote. It was just popular, whatever was the most popular nominations from the judges became the nominations. And then it was decided by the public what would win. And Solo Leveling was, of course, massively popular. Like, I think it even overtook One Piece on Crunchyroll's own website when it comes to like total number of like reviews or ratings or viewers. I don't understand how it works, but it is an incredibly popular show, especially season 2, which just wrapped up coincidentally as people started voting. But the reaction they had, like, the reaction Miles had to that, like finding out what they were doing with the voting, he was just completely like flabbergasted, because it's like, yeah, why would you do it that way? Because now what it basically means is like, let's say I'm a judge. They ask me what are my favorite original anime of the year, and I give them 6 nominations. It's then entirely possible that those 6 nominations are not the 6 most popular nominations at all. So therefore, my nominations just effectively do not fucking matter in any capacity. So it's like everything, like just on so many, and I'm sure it's like a nightmare to fucking put this on, because like just like the logistics of like organizing the show and stuff. But it's like you have systems in place from previous award shows that seem to be working pretty well, and now we're just ditching them for God knows what. I don't know. It's like a colossal shit show that I don't even understand how it really gets to that point.
Yeah, I found the transcript of like what the translator actually said for that speech, and it's like, Makahiran, I'm playing the role. This is about a girl who woke up. This is only the stages during the student's life. This is all about the daily life. This is animation, wonderful music, and play. And so you're just like watching this, and you're like, oh, this is. I literally,
I have a negative understanding of what they're talking about. I would have probably, with my, let's be clear, nil understanding of Japanese, would have probably gotten a better idea of what she was saying had there just not been anything dubbed over it.
Jeez, yeah, that does not sound coherent at all.
No, at all. I mean, again, it's like I hope. And then it's like the thing I always point to is like the trophy that they give out is just this really plain looking glass obelisk, and it's like, yeah, that's the perfect symbol for this award show, because it just shows no thought put into it.
Yeah,
you know what I associate with anime? Plain glass obelisk, honestly.
Like, I mean, how can anybody even like legitimately look at Soul Leveling and think, or with something, knowing something like that happen, and say that it legitimately was the best anime of that.
Oh, geez, that's like, easy. They just didn't watch anything else.
I mean, yeah.
like I think our friend Lextorius put it in a very good way, where it's like the people like, I think most people like who give any like reasonable amount of shit about the awards and what the results were, you're like, okay, Frieren probably should have won. It wasn't my favorite anime of last year, but it was incredibly popular, incredibly well received. How the hell did that not win? And the answer is just more people watch Solo Leveling, because the people who are watching Solo Leveling and loving Solo Leveling are the people who, like, Solo Leveling is their first anime. The people who are watching Frieren and loving Frieren and saying it's like their favorite anime ever, more than likely have seen even just a handful of other anime before getting to Frieren. And as a result of that, even though Frieren is incredibly popular, it's narrowed down the pool rather considerably by not being people's favorite anime by just being the first anime they've ever seen, like Solo Leveling. It's people's favorite anime because it's like, I don't know, the favorite, like the 10 they've seen or the 5 they've seen. However, they've seen more anime as a result, but that also then means there's fewer of them.
Yeah, their knowledge pool is kind of biased because they don't have that. You know,
Yeah.
they don't have a large well to pull from. I tell
you know.
people, like, I tell people this a lot, especially when it comes to some of the older shows and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, my favorite animes are whatever's been popular in the last 5 to 10 years," and I'm like,
Yeah.
Y'all might need to dig a little bit deeper."
Which, I mean, to be fair, it's like a public vote, and I'm not going to expect like everyone voting on the awards and in terms of like the general public to have seen everything that was nominated. Like, I think there were some categories where I also had not seen everything that was nominated. I would definitely expect that of the judges, though, and I would expect the judges to make up the majority of the vote because their opinion, they have seen everything that's nominated. They've presumably seen a fair amount of anime. If they're nominating things and judging an anime award show, I would simply be fairly familiar with anime. Whether or not they are is a curious question. Because like the judges are like, they had like the list of judges up on their website publicly, and when I was going through them, I was like, I don't know about this. I also noticed a curious thing. I'm not going to name names. That would be irresponsible of me. But like, they had like a lot of journalists as judges for the award show, and it was weird because I would then like look them up, and they had made like, you know, they had made like, you know, articles or whatever promoting the anime awards without really disclosing that they were also judges for the awards, which to me just seems like an ethics, like a journalistic ethics violation.
Anime
I was like, I don't know about.
Granted, it's so hard to trust journalists, especially since that kind of moniker gets thrown around so flippantly these days.
I don't know who's a journalist and who isn't, and you know, it's like people are like, games journalists. And I'm like, who are games journalists? Like are YouTuber, like who, like people talking about the is Rev Says Desu a journalist? I don't know. Like, what?
I don't know, because it's like they don't. People online don't have the same ethic. Like, they are guided by basically their own morals.
Yeah,
and it's hard to find like true stories out there, or like legit stories anymore.
Mm-hmm. I mean, in general, like I don't necessarily go to anyone really like that I don't like know personally, like in terms of like reviews. Like, I'm not asking like, oh man, what did IGN think about anime? Like, I'm not gonna ever ask that fucking question because I don't give a flying fuck.
Fuck no. I love using their articles for videos though.
Like stuff that's like factually, like interviews or like just like general information about like stuff that's going on. Yeah, sure. It's just like you know, stuff like that. You know, that's perfectly fine. I'm just not going to rely on them to like recommend me like what to watch this season. In part because I'm already just watching everything, and I'm a grown adult that can decide for themselves what I'm interested in. I don't need that.
I don't trust other people's opinions.
I decided. Listen, I've realized I can only trust myself at the end of the day.
Me, myself, and I.
There's too many shows I've like, oh, this is gonna be garbage because everyone hates it. And I watched, I'm like, this was better than the shit they were recommending. What?
Yeah.
Why am I listening to these fucking people?
Oh man. Well, we are about to hit the top of the hour, so I think we should take a little break just to reset.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was
Are
a
we
fun
back?
OVA.
Yeah. So what now?
So
Are
that
we
was
back?
a fun OVA. The clip that was playing.
Akira Toriyama. Oh, I've got tons of them.
Hello and welcome to Bunza Still 2000.
God. You should see a doctor about that. I don't know if that's healthy. I think.
Is that Fist of North Star?
I forget the name of that freaking anime, but it's insane. So many insane things happen.
Egghead murderer! Hold your fire! This man isn't black! What?
That's it.
They knew.
Oh,
what they were
my
There
doing.
are so many, especially with like, what did we watch? We watched the OVA Dog Soldier somewhat recently. Which, if you ever watch Dog Soldier, because of what it's about, what the plot's about, you have to watch it dubbed because it's really fun. It's not good, but
I think I have.
holy fuck, it's funny.
Is that the one with the exploding dog?
No, that
Or
is
no?
That's Sasuke.
that's Sasuke.
Is that sauce? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Sasuke was funny because I remember when they announced like I think it was maybe a discotheque stream or maybe just like media OCD stream. They were like doing like their announcements and stuff, and they were like, "We're going to show a clip of it, and no one's gonna be able to guess what this is." And they put up the clip, and it was the dog being thrown into the air and exploding like a grenade. I'm like, Sasuke, you're not fooling me, Justin Saveka. I know my fucking shit.
Oh man. Yeah, like oh man, I remember so I started going to like cons back in 2006.
Oh, okay.
And one of my big ones that I went to was Anime Week in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And they always had AMV Hell showing, and like so many animes I've watched from just watching AMV Hell. Like
oh yeah,
Mad Bull 34, freaking oh my god, I'm blanking right now. But yeah, anyways, a lot of stuff from there. Just the way they made it funny made me go watch those animes.
Hell, like last year, didn't they? Like it came
No, they're
back.
making a new one right now.
Oh, they're making
Oh,
a
no,
new
it
one.
came out.
No, I thought it came out like last because like I thought they played it at Otakon last year.
I don't think so. Maybe they did. It is weird though that like
Yeah, AMV Hell 8 5 months ago. It's an hour.
That wasn't
it's
last
80 minutes
year.
long.
it is weird though
because,
that like
no, like I mean, yes, it was last year because it says December.
well 5 months ago is June.
But still, it was that just means it was uploaded onto YouTube. No, 8 months ago, 8.5. I don't. Okay, sure. I don't. In any case, no, it was at I didn't get to see it at Otakon because I think it was like conflicted with something else that I wanted to go do. But it was at Otakon last year.
It is weird that like I feel like the impact of AMV Hell on like the early internet humor is kind of like lost now because like AMV Hell's just like a thing no one pays that much attention to anymore. But I remember like I watched AMV Hell 3 and I was like, what the fuck is this shit? But it was
A lot of it, Not all of it, but a surprising amount of it has aged like fairly well. I feel like anything that has to do with like Azumanga Daioh, like I've seen Azumanga Daioh shit posts from like 15 years ago on YouTube, and they are identical to Azumanga Daioh shit posts nowadays, and they are just as funny. This is fucking stupid.
It pretty much set the culture for Azumanga Discord.
Kinda, yeah. If there's ever been a show that has just had a lasting impact on the internet, it's Azumanga Daioh.
Oh man. Oh, so let me ask, what do y'all think is the thing that, like, where do y'all see anime going, or the anime culture going in the future? Because I have a strong feeling that like some of the things that we see within anime is going to get lost. Like I think ecchi is going to get massively buried the more globalized the anime becomes, just because it doesn't, it doesn't mesh with the popular sensibilities.
Probably to some extent. I think. Well, we did an episode of our podcast recently where we talked about every year they basically put out like the anime industry report, and there's like a summary version of it that's published in English. And the trend it was a report for last year, so the data only goes up to 2023. But in 2023, it was basically the second year, not the second year in a row, because it took like it went down a little bit, but 2023 was the second year that international revenue had overtaken domestic revenue for the anime industry. And I think that is just, I don't know if it'll necessarily get to the point of like the video game industry, where the Japanese video game industry, I think, is like 2/3 of the revenue for it. If I'm remembering that figure correctly off the top of my head, is international. I don't know if it'll quite get to that point, but I definitely think that going forward, there's going to be a trend of the majority. I mean, it may even be a slim majority, like 51% of the anime industry's revenue being coming from outside of Japan. I think also, like, in terms of like ecchi or just like any sort of like erotic content, I think it's a mix of maybe not necessarily like a lesser demand for it internationally, but then also you have things like payment processors are kind of getting much more restrictive with entire platforms as it stands. Things like Pixiv, DL site, things like that, where it's like now you can no longer use your like Visa or your MasterCard on some of these websites, because some of them like they also, like, in terms of like they sell everything, which then also just includes things like hentai, and then they're like, no, you now all of it's off the table. So it's like, okay, I mean, I guess that's also a facet of like soft power. And then also like there's the revamping the Cool Japan initiative as well. And last time they did that, it basically, our friend Joe put out a really good video recently talking about how Cool Japan project kind of in some ways resulted in the Japanese government killing, or we'll say curtailing, otaku culture in Akihabara specifically, because that was like a massive tourist destination. So they kind of like sanitized it and sprayed it down and replaced all the hentai shops with now soapland brothels, basically. So why not? Sure, instead of cute anime girls, it's sex tourism. I guess that's what we're going for now. Okay, all right.
You got an interesting like juxtaposition going on, because I feel like otaku media specifically has gotten very it's gone down the lineage of being very self-referential, in the sense of like, isekai is the easy example, is very self-referential to other isekai works, and it's now building its own language as far as within the genre. You kind of previously saw it with like mecha and stuff, where that's kind of where Evangelion stems from, is that sort of development of that otaku sort of database and that language as far as developing its own sort of shorthand. And at the same time, you're getting more and more people outside of the anime space who are now just kind of casually consuming anime that are kind of more not necessarily otaku focused. Like I wouldn't say a Demon Slayer or My Hero Academia were like aimed at otaku specifically,
No,
but they are
I
more
mean,
so
like,
than like a
children were reading that
Suzuya-san.
shit.
Yeah, they're more so than like a Suzuya-san or a Doraemon in Japan, right? Like those are
Yeah,
just
yeah.
prime time. Everyone watches it. Not everyone's watching My Hero Academia, but you're getting more casual people watching those sorts of shows here in the West.
Yeah.
And so now they are kind of branching out into like a Solo Leveling or a Ninja Kamui or whatever. And you get this weird kind of conflict where people are like, this is just copying this thing, or this is weird, this is gross. And that is kind of where the medium is. A lot of the otaku stuff specifically is kind of gravitating towards, is kind of this its own creative language of sorts.
It's a
Where-
database, if you will.
Yeah, where
Right.
the zeitgeist is becoming more intercontinental and more casual, or whatever you want to put it.
Yeah, I think casual would probably be the best way to put it, but I mean, it's definitely like if you look at anime from the 80s and 90s and how wild it was. Like, I mean, how many animes do we get these days where it's as wild as some of the body more Jesus
Body horror.
thank you, body horror stuff, or the tentacle stuff. It doesn't. That used to be the kind of the staple, because I mean I've grown up with anime for years, and like I don't think I ever stopped watching anime from when I was a kid. But it used to be there, and it is like I have seen it slowly sanitize itself, and it got especially worse when streaming services started coming around, and it's becoming more culturally acceptable, I think is the way to say it.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of that sanitization was happening in the early 2000s. I think it's been since the kind of push toward TV anime as opposed to OVAs, because a lot of the stuff that we think about looking back that was like violent, hypersexual, those were all OVAs that were being released on just a video format where they could kind of get away with that. Whereas like now you're getting a lot of stuff like starting off with like Bebop and Escaflowne and Ava, which were now airing on TV, and kind of had to navigate these sort of censorships and broadcasting standards that OVAs did not have to. But the market had like shifted, where now you had to have anime that was kind of marketing on television, kind of like we talked about earlier, like Ava's business model with like Sega and King's Records and stuff like that. Now they were kind of more expected to push these licensing properties, as opposed to just selling based on the merits of the short or the movie or whatever itself. So it's definitely been a thing since before streaming.
If anything, I feel like streaming to a certain extent opens that back up a little bit more, because like Netflix has fewer rules than cable.
Yeah, like Cyberpunk Edgerunners was
Cyberpunk Edgerunners is very
Yeah.
had a lot of extreme stuff. So did Devilman Crybaby. Still.
And then you get stuff like Ishizuka Reviewers and the Edison Tachi.
Yeah.
Edison Didi's Don't No Peace or whatever.
Yeah.
So I mean, you still get them occasionally. It's just the market is not necessarily established for it yet, I don't think.
It's also like a question of like how much of this is like necessarily due to like constraints of like the platform, whether that be like cable company, network saying like this is what you are and are not allowed to do, and then also how much of that is like just generally shifting audience tastes, but also like creative interests. Like it's also like not you don't want to necessarily just be constantly like repeating the past as well. It's like, well, yeah, hyper violent tentacle stuff. We already did that. It's called Erotsu Doji. Do we need to be doing that still like 30 years later? Maybe not. I mean, there are other things that we can be doing now as well. Things that are also just gross and horrific, but in different ways.
Some of the stuff that I like, some of the stuff that I've covered, I know that Crunchyroll, before they got bought out by Sony, and they probably still in it, is trying to do it, but like Western companies have been trying to be influential within the anime industry, like telling them obviously the 4Kids and stuff with their own dubbings of things, changing the way that the Japanese market produces their animation, to where it was initially within the bubble of Japan that they were like, well, that's not going to play outside, so they are trying to become more influential. And I know with Crunchyroll, right, or Sony Crunchyroll rising more within the last year, because I mean they have basically they may not be technically a monopoly just yet, but they do have a majority of power with buying right stuff and several of the other bought their way into the industry.
Well, that's like very much Sony's playbook of like, well, we tried doing our own thing and it failed horribly, so let's just buy the competition instead.
It's like they couldn't compete by making something original, so it's like, we'll just buy them out. They don't have the money. And so I think, I mean, I know I have, like, I'm sure many others have a problem with that being what seems to be more of the push towards what they want more than a natural evolution or change into the industry.
I mean, it's not like, it's not just like American stuff, by the way. Like, I mean, there's also been like a growing concern of like Chinese investment as well. Toshi Okada has an interesting video where he's like, he's discussing part of the reason that there are so many anime coming out nowadays is partially due to what essentially amounts to like collusion among Japanese companies in order to, because like companies like internet, like companies like Crunchyroll, companies like Sony, or I don't know, whatever the equivalent for China would be, they are bringing a lot of money into the industry. But what's going on is like this money is not necessarily being dedicated to singular projects. Rather, what's happening is that in order for these Japanese companies to maintain a certain percentage of control over these individual anime, the money that Crunchyroll is bringing in is then instead being spread out across multiple projects, which is then why you have seen just a rapid proliferation in the amount of anime that is coming out every season now over the past however many years. In terms of it is, I do have to wonder though what that necessarily entails, because it's not like everything that, like, because Crunchyroll has been on like a number of like production committees over many years, so it's always it's a matter of, well, how do we know like what they're actually doing? Like, because we can't just say like, okay, well, they're just sanitizing stuff and keep it from being controversial, when we also have things like Rising of the Shield Hero, which was very controversial for things like slavery. But then Crunchyroll was on the production committee for that, so it's like, how much of it is them like actually trying to sanitize stuff? I don't know. It's to a certain extent we just can't know, because we're not the ones in like these boardroom meetings and where things are being like discussed, and unless someone like comes forward and says something, we're just never really going to find out.
I think, like, I have a strong feeling like if the Crunchyroll brand doesn't turn around maybe in the next year or two, that Sony will probably rebrand them, because I think they have done, like, that name has done such damage to anime that it may be irreversible in order to gain the public favor.
It's possibly. I think it's also a question of like, at least in English speaking spaces, like among we'll say among more dedicated anime fans, Crunchyroll is kind of like, fuck those guys. But then what we're also seeing is like fairly, we'll say dirty tactics, put it lightly, of things like being like loss leaders in developing markets like, we'll say, India, where they will charge a much lower subscription cost initially to basically get their foot in the door for the large and just also growing very rapidly Indian anime market. They'll charge less for their subscription there, and maybe even technically lose money, but they're growing their audience, and then over time they can then raise their subscription costs and yada yada yada. So then it's a question of like, okay, so then, well, how much does that controversy really matter in the long term? I haven't looked at like what their like financials have been recently in terms of like, I think they've been growing from what I understand, but I don't know if they've necessarily like, it's been kind of like a bit more of a tapered growth. Don't quote me on that though. I'll need to like sit down and double check those numbers. In terms of rebranding, I'm not entirely sure. From what I do understand, and I'm basing this off an article that I read a while ago that's kind of vague, I kind of vaguely remember, but it more or less involved when Sony bought Crunchyroll. They had already owned Funimation for quite some time, and when they merged Crunchyroll and Funimation, what that basically entailed was moving like the executives over from Funimation into Crunchyroll, which then has internally, I guess, resulted in, we'll say, conflicts between some like the upper and middle management and then everyone else at the company. So in terms of like whether or not that, and then also there was another article that came out maybe a year ago now. I forget how long ago, because it's not just like Crunchyroll does like have like a sizable influence in the anime market, internationally speaking, at least. Like they do license like not everything, but it certainly feels like everything that comes out in a season. But at the same time, then they are also facing rather strict competition from companies like Netflix, we'll say. So even while Crunchyroll is like picking up everything, they don't necessarily have the money to then go ahead and compete with a company like Netflix, who then can also then can be much more selective and just pick and choose the best, like what will be guaranteed to be the most popular shows in a season, and just basically outbid Crunchyroll. And we've seen like controversy kind of result in that, where Dan Da was on both Crunchyroll and on Netflix. And as a result of that, there was almost like a little bit of a move internally at Crunchyroll to kind of like not necessarily suppress Dan Da Dan, but kind of not promote it as much because they didn't have exclusive rights over it. Netflix was also streaming it because Netflix has a lot of money that they can afford to do that. So,
yeah, I mean, there's, and that's the thing, right? Is that there are these other like Hulu, Disney it got Bleach, 1,000-Year Blood War exclusively.
Oh yeah,
and that was, to me, that was insane. That when I read that article when that came out, it was like, wow, Disney's making some serious moves.
I was thinking about
anime.
I was thinking about Disney's like anime strategy the other day, because it's very weird. It's very strange because like there's Disney Plus and there's Disney Plus Japan, and Disney Plus Japan is a fairly interesting and weirdly eclectic like selection of anime. Like they've been doing things like Summertime Render, which is fairly sexualized and incredibly violent, and not something I would ever associate with the Disney brand. But you know what? It's there. Same thing with Tatami Time Machine Blues. It was also picked up by Disney Plus Japan. Their strategy is very weird to me. I don't quite pay a ton of attention to it, in part because I don't have Disney Plus. Also, not a lot of people talk about it necessarily, which is weird. Like they picked up 1,000-Year Blood War, that was on Hulu. Hulu has like a lot of interesting selections when it comes to anime. I was like scrolling through it one day, and I was like, they got some like good picks here. If you're an anime fan or someone like wanting to get into anime and like Hulu's your main platform, not a bad platform to get started on, honestly.
It's not. I actually suggest it to a lot of people because I rarely use Netflix and I don't do Crunchyroll. Like if I watch something legally, it comes from Hulu. Like what was it last season when Medalist was on Hulu?
Oh yeah,
I picked that up and watched that, and I watched it dubbed, and I normally don't do dubs, but I absolutely exclusively watched the dub on Hulu.
Our friend John was also watching Medalist on Hulu, but he was watching it subbed, and I've had the problem where Hulu's subtitles are for whatever reason horribly mistimed. He was having that problem as well. And you watch the dub, so you have to deal with like horribly mistimed subtitles. I don't know, yeah, but it in terms of that, they're annoying. Also, it's weird to me. This is now just me complaining about petty shit, but like Hulu, the way that they have their things on their platform is like they will have it dubbed and subbed as like separate like series, basically, which is like. Okay, so like they'll have the dub sometimes and not the sub, or like it's like I don't just let me like swap the audio back and forth natively in the player. I don't understand why this has to be two different uploads.
So two animes that I one I binge watched and another one I just started today, or I was trying to start the other day. But the Reincarnated as a Spider anime they just put on there, and they didn't have the first episode dubbed.
Oh,
they had it subbed. Yeah, like the first, like in my queue or where they have all their episodes, they had the first episode subbed but not dubbed, but they had the rest of the season in dub. And then there was another anime, the Reincarnated Reincarnated Life as a Villainess, All Roads Lead to Doom, or whatever, however you say that freaking thing.
Yeah.
Watch that. They were completely missing episode 6.
What? Was it a
Vika? I have no idea. Like, so it was exclusively on both as dubs. So I don't know why they were missing, but they're like both those episodes are there now, and it was just weird. Like I watched 11 episodes of The Villainous, and I had to go back and watch episode 6. Like right in the middle, and it's just missing.
That's also just like a thing with streaming series. Like you just have to deal with bullshit like that sometimes.
Yeah.
And I guess like an annoying thing is always going to be like having to deal with like the fact that it's being streamed. So you have things like banding and weird color stuff. Some like I don't know, things that don't necessarily always look the best. I guess it is what it is, but yeah. Yeah. So yeah, in terms of like Crunchyroll's future, I guess I can't really speak on it because I'm not a Crunchyroll expert, Crunchyroll hater.
Oh yeah.
But, I guess you know that will they be around in 10 years? I have no idea. Will they be around in 5 years? That seems more likely, but you know, who knows where you know, we like everyone keeps saying that we're going to be hitting a recession or something at some point, and I don't know, people have been saying the anime industry is on the verge of collapsing for years and years and years now, but I think what will end up happening yeah. You know, but what will end up happening, I think, is like, there's just a global economic collapse that then also just tanks the anime industry, and then probably takes Crunchyroll down with it, and that's how. And then everyone dies because we can't afford food or something. That's how it's all going to end or something.
Yeah, so it will all end with the final bandwidth that Crunchyroll puts out.
Crunchyroll takes us down with us. You know, they're about to go under. They have to declare bankruptcy, so they unleash their entire nuclear stockade upon the world.
I always knew Sony wouldn't be trusted.
It'd almost be worth it. I am staunchly against Crunchyroll. I've been for a very long time. Their whole model was to basically just take from the anime community, the people that watch, the shows. And the big, like, I remember when they were first coming out, like in 2010, 2011, I want to say, and they were making big pushes at conventions. They were well, if you subscribe to Crunchyroll, proceeds will go to the creators, and it will help them.
Oh, they had a huge push on like YouTube advertising back in the 2010s as well. I remember like every YouTube video I clicked on was sponsored by Crunchyroll, I guess. It's like I don't necessarily even want to be against Crunchyroll as a company. Like oftentimes I think to myself, you know what? I should just bite the bullet and get a Crunchyroll subscription. And then every time I think about that, without fail, there's some news story about people at Crunchyroll doing something fucky with some guy's mail, or Crunchyroll they killed their comment section, which was a big community. I mean, I was never a part of it. I didn't really know it existed, but clearly it was something a lot of people cared about, and they're just killing that off. And
I remember a big thing in like the mid 2010s was they were lowering the bit rate on their back catalog.
Oh yeah.
Where like everything, if you were watching something that wasn't a new seasonal, there was like a 75% chance it was just like throttled to shit. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
And this is for premium memberships too.
No, it's like, okay, like I don't mind the idea of an anime streaming service, but it does feel increasingly like the people running Crunchyroll do not necessarily understand anime all that well, in terms of like, maybe they understand in terms of numbers, but not necessarily like artistically or in terms of the culture.
I've like just kind of accepted that there's always going to be a Crunchyroll. It might not be Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
It might not be Daisuke. Might not be Funimation. But there's always going to be some like force that I will probably not look fondly of in general.
Yeah.
So it's like it's almost a necessary evil, because there is a lot of good that almost unintentionally that Crunchyroll does. The fact that they have pushed or have kind of led to getting so many things being subtitled means that there is more resources for people to subtitle like a show that's not been picked up by Crunchyroll or whatever. There is like 50 something shows a season. They do pay people to do that, whereas fan subs, you're not. I mean, you might get like a Patreon.
I mean, that was another controversy back in the day when they're not paying like people like doing their subtitle work.
Not a living wage. Yeah. But I mean, there's some benefit. You kind of have to take the good with the bad. It's just a matter of like, does the cons outweigh the pros of Crunchyroll?
Yeah.
And it's like, is this company doing something in the world more broadly that is something that like I feel content with supporting? And I mean, when it comes to Crunchyroll, I feel like the answer is not really. No, I feel like yeah, sure, it's cool that like they're providing like they're making anime more accessible and subtitling all the stuff that comes out every season, but then it's also like, what are they doing beyond that? Like, what are the other pros? And
creating shows like High Guardian Spice. That's what they're doing.
I mean, that's never ever going to happen again.
Probably not.
Hey, I'll have you know that spilling like this High Guardian Spice is what spilling the milk cut their teeth. That's how they built their goddamn channel, and look at them now. God damn it. God bless them. All right. It all worked out. Silver linings.
So I did tell y'all guys that it'd be 90 minutes. So if y'all are still good to go, we can keep going, or if y'all
we can yap for days.
We can yap for days. My only thing is I think we're doing. I have Twin Peaks in 20 minutes.
Well, all right. Well, I guess we'll just end it there, and y'all are welcome back at anytime. Just hit me up, and obviously plug y'all stuff.
We're everywhere at the Weeb Crew.
Yeah.
We're the Weeb Crew podcast on YouTube. We also have a video channel called the Weeb Crew. No podcast.
No, we're on like every podcast. Apple and Spotify, and if you're a hipster that uses something else, we're probably on there as well. Podbean,
whatever.
Podstream. I don't know.
What's your RSS feed?
I think it's just the Weeb Crew. I don't even know. I mean, we have an RSS feed.
rss.com/podcast.
The Weeb Crew, all one word.
The Weeb Crew, all one word.
Oh, well, guys, I do appreciate y'all coming on. It's been a blast.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having
us on.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I will. I swear I'm terrible at intros and outros, so I just do these things.
Big eyes, thick thighs, yeah, she's hands are freaky, curves so tight, got me feeling damn kinky, echo ears, thigh highs, she's ready to tease, zoom, da-da-da-da, down on her knees, I'm talking isekai nights where the pleasures raw, kawaii mask on, but she's breaking the law, perfect by my side, but I'm chasing that sin, in this anime world, let the games begin. I'm talking isekai nights where the pleasure's raw, kawaii mask on, but she's breaking the law. Perfect by my side, but I'm chasing that sin. In this anime world, let the games begin. Take me away to that dirty ass scene where the waifus know just what the fuck I mean. OP from the start with that hentai art. In this anime dream, I'm stealing hearts. Hard life, tough shit, time to get obscene. In a land where the rules ain't what they seem. Bunny suits, made skirts, yeah, she's playing rough. In this anime fantasy, we can't get enough. She's got that tsundere fire with the slutty twist. Playing hard to get, but she wants that risk. Shukaban queen with the whip in her hands. In this kinky world, I'm at her command. Take me away to that dirty ass scene where the waifus know just what the fuck I mean. OP from the start with that hentai art. In this anime dream, I'm stealing hearts. Waifus on my lap under neon lights. In this freaky world, we own the nights. Diving deep where the pleasure's warm. In this anime trip, we ride the storm. Under neon lights, in this freaky world, we own the nights. Diving deep where the pleasure's warm. In this anime trip, we ride the storm. Take me away to that dirty ass scene where the waifus know just what the fuck I mean. I'll be from the start with that hentai art. In this anime dream, I'm stealing hearts. Big eyes, thick thighs, got me in on lights. In this freaky world, we own the nights. Diving deep where the pleasure's warm. In this anime trip, we ride the storm. Big eyes, thick thighs, got me in a trance. In this 2D world, we fuck and dance. Kawaii dreams with a nasty twist.